Hey guys, what's going on? This is your friendly neighborhood Manatee here, and I'm planning on starting a new series about becoming a better programmer. So generally, I'm going to talk about just writing better code, I guess. Cleaner code, faster code, just more understandable code. So this will probably be more for people who actually know how to program, but want to be able to write better code, and just not write, just really soupy programs they can't understand. So a lot of the information I'm going to be talking about is going to be based off of Steve McConnell's Code Complete 2. It's a really good book with a lot of information. It goes into a much more in-depth discussion than I will in this series, so I'm going to leave a link in the description, and if you want, you can go check that out. So some things I'm going to discuss are planning your projects, so what you're going to do before you even start writing a line of code. And then source code formatting, so things like how to use whitespace and different styles of programming. Functions, so how to use them, how to name them, parameters, and what they should and should not do. Things like scope restriction and class communication. So how to use private, protected, and public variables, methods, and classes, and also generally how you should have information flow between classes. Then debugging, how to find bugs, how to fix bugs, and just generally how to debug faster, and how to not introduce more bugs while you're fixing your bugs. And finally, testing, so things like unit testing and making sure you find errors in your code. And hopefully we'll have a lot more topics to discuss. So this is for new programmers or people that are self-taught, or maybe even intermediate programmers that have written code before but just want to improve their programming abilities. And if you've already read a lot of books on becoming a better programmer or found resources like this probably won't have anything really new for you to watch, but if you want to, go ahead. So I'm not going to be telling you how to program in this tutorial. I assume you have some knowledge of a high-level language like Java or PHP or C. And also, if you have object-oriented experience, it's going to be really helpful because I'm going to go into a couple of examples in object-oriented programming practices. And also, if not, you should probably really learn object-oriented programming because that's what it's really at today. And then also, these aren't really set rules you have to follow. It's just a bunch of tips and practices you can take into consideration when writing new projects. So you should probably get a version control system like Git before you start. Just generally knowing how to use this tool is very useful. It helps you control your code, so you can compare different versions of your code, and it's really useful. Also, a lot of companies use a version control system, so you should probably learn now and not later. And then a few pieces of wisdom to keep in mind while you're programming and through the series. So you do write code once, but you may read it multiple times over. If you put in effort to make code good the first time and readable, you'll have less trouble reading it later and you'll save time in the long run. And then there's also many different ways of doing things in programming. You can do whatever you want within reason, as long as you keep the same consistency throughout your entire code base. It helps with understanding things as long as you don't jumble up your styles. And then also I have one quote that I really like that should keep in mind while you're programming, is pretend whoever has to maintain your code is a violent psychopath who knows where you live. So if you do that, it should inspire you to write some good code. So I guess I should have a first video out in a couple of days, so I hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching.